Hey everyone, it's Carrie Langford, and this is my final Ignite presentation for EDFN 530, and it's on formative assessment as a whole. I'm looking at where have you been, where are you now, and where are you going, which is a little play on the three main questions we had. So formative assessment is formal and informal processes teachers and students use to gather evidence for the purpose of informing the next steps in learning. You can gather them in many different ways. And so the main thing is, where am I going? The idea behind this is to build confidence and increase chances of mastering the learning targets that are set forth. Strategy 1 provides students with a clear and understandable vision of the learning target. I love this picture because sometimes it feels like our kids are blindfolded and we're just trying to surprise them with what we're doing. But you need to state the learning target and convert it into student-friendly language. If you're using a rubric, same thing. Know your learning target types, and that will drive your assessment. So down the corner, I have the culture corner. This is about the culture of your classroom. So in this case, I'm talking about showcasing your learning, where learning is the goal. Strategy 2 is use examples and models that are strong and weak. That way students will be exposed to the quality of work that is expected of them. It's hard to judge the 15 seconds. Students will gain skills that help them express an opinion, defend their reasoning, and critique reasoning of others. Again, building that culture in your classroom. Learning can be achieved in many different ways. So you're building on, how do I create this environment for learning? Then we go into, where am I now? Here you want to determine target-specific data, the right versus wrong, and fixable versus unsure. So what exactly are your students missing, and why are they missing it? So strategy 3 is all about offering regular descriptive feedback during the learning. Your students shouldn't get to the end of something and have no idea whether or not they're going to achieve or not achieve. This is when the communication between the teacher and student really takes off, building that healthy relationship. Feedback occurs during the learning, and you want to praise the work and process, not the student characteristics. Again, building your culture, you want to think and act like learners, and that self-efficacy and effort pay off. Strategy 4 is teach students to self-assess and set goals for the next step. Without reflection, growth is minimized. And I love that cartoon there about your self-reflection. So when students understand themselves, their strengths and weaknesses, and how to deal with them, they will start to make real progress. They realize they have control and responsibility for their learning. So in the culture corner, commit to continued learning. That's something that you want your kids to understand in your classroom. Then, how can I close the gap? What do we need to do to make learning even better for tomorrow? And that's strategies 5, 6, and 7. Strategy 5 is use evidence of student learning needs to determine the next steps in teaching. It's about the students' needs. They should be the ones determining your pacing guide. And I know that that's a struggle for many teachers in many districts, is sticking to what has been given to them. You need to determine whether things are incomplete understanding, flaws in reasoning, or misconception. So how a student answers a question, what their answer is, can tell you a lot about what they know or they don't know. In the culture corner, physically and mentally be present, and errors can occur, and that's a good thing in our classroom. Strategy 6, design focused instruction followed by practice with feedback. Educators must determine the breakdown and understanding and cater to students' academic needs. Plus, you need to give them the time to practice your feedback. You can't grade practice. You're in a feedback loop, so it continues to feed what you're doing, and you have to devote the time. In your classroom culture, you want to practice with a learning intent. The kids understand that's what they're doing. And struggling just means you're starting out. Strategy 7, provide opportunities for students to track, reflect on, and share their learning progress. By reflecting, it deepens their understanding, which makes them remember it longer, and then sharing their progress helps them understand it better in a deeper way. So notice the learning, reflect on it, and share it with others. To create your classroom culture, you want them to know learning is valuable and deserves to be showcased, which wraps around to strategy 1, where we showcase the learning. You have to be willing to ignite a light for the student learning. We have no idea where they're going or what they'll be, but if we teach them how to learn, the possibilities are truly endless. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this tonight. Thanks.